So I guess we have enough participants who have joined in now. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to one and all, and thank you so much, Anil, for taking out time to help the finder, some of the founders wade through the trying times and throw some light on what could be the strategies to move ahead in the current scenario and beyond. So just to begin with, basically COVID-19 impact is a very different one from the earlier downturns, slowdowns that we've seen, basically because this is one of the most, I mean, it has an uncertainty which is raised to the power 3 times of whatever we've seen so far in our lifetimes.
Your voice is.
Everyone's mind was on whether to move out because of the earthquake or stay in the house because of the COVID. So that is the perils that we are in right now. So stepping out is a no-no. And let's hear investors' perspective on this. Uh, uh, we have Sushanto Mitra, who is the founder and CEO of Lead Angels. Uh, Sushanto, handing over the mic to you.
Yeah, thanks, Manish. Welcome, Mr. Joshi and all participants who are here. So without much ado, let's get on to the job. I think we'll break the agenda for today's meeting is essentially to see how COVID is impacting different businesses and how each of our businesses, what activities they should do or what steps they should take to maximize the value from COVID and minimize its negative impact. And of course, we are very happy to have questions from the audience and we're looking forward to that. If you have any questions, please add them to the chat and my colleague Manish will start asking us. Anil, I wanted to start with you, and of course, you spent many years with angel-funded companies, and then thereafter with being a venture partner of a venture capital fund, and you would have seen the 2008 and 2001 crisis. My belief is that this is a very different crisis because all the other crises, there was within well-defined parameters. We know what happened on 9/11. Nothing very, good, but we knew the parameters of that, how U.S. security concerns will increase, and we know about the 2008 mortgage housing crisis because it was limited to real estate in the U.S. Of course, it had a global impact. But this one, apart from having a global impact, we don't know the end game of the virus. So how do businesses, especially those who are very badly affected by this lockdown, what is your view that they should do in the current time?
Thanks, Sushanto, for having me, and welcome all for this lovely session organized by.
Anil, if you can also introduce yourself, that will be great.
Sure. So I'm Anil Joshi. I run a fund called Unicorn India Ventures, which was started in 2015. We are currently, in Fund 3. The first was 100 crore invested in 17 companies with portfolio like Open Bank, Open App, Smartcoin, Neuro Equilibrium, Sector Cube, Secure Tech. So fairly decent, portfolio from Fund 1. We typically invest in early stage tech enabled companies. We have a small fund based out of UK to invest in cross border opportunities from UK. And we have just launched our third fund, second in India, which is 400 crore to again invest in tech focused companies in India. So that's a brief about us. We are Mumbai based and happy to be, part of this uh, discussion. So Sushanto, coming to your, you know, uh, initial opening comments, I fully agree with you. These are very uncertain times. While there are assumptions that, pharma companies are working on cure and vaccine, which may take anywhere 15 to 18 months, but we don't know when it will happen. It may happen early, it may take more time. It's a very uncertain time, right? People have business, but they are not able to interact or execute their orders. While in past, when there was bad patch, economy was going down, people at least had some sense on what's happening. There is a recession or there's not coming in. There was a financial downturn, but now it's a totally different scenario, right? You're not able to move out of your house. You might have an order, but you can't execute. So it's a very uncertain time, and hence you need a very different kind of approach, just to share with you, especially for startups, which are very young company, very young audience. There are people who probably are confined all in four walls, away from family, away from colleagues, and that actually is causing a very different kind of stress to all those people, right? They have no place to go out, probably some of maybe even struggling with daily chores. So it's a very tough time, very stressful time, and I think during this phase, one need to handle it very carefully. That's I would like to share initially, and then we can take it up more inputs as we progress.
Just following on that question, supposing they are very negatively affected, that the sales, as you said, many companies have their sales reduced to zero, and they have a burn which is of their team and rental and servers and so on and so forth. And so what is your advice? Should they, and maybe they are running out of their runway also, and right now, since they have no revenues, that is affecting them even more. So what is your advice? Should they do very drastic cost cutting? Uh, and if yes, what costs they should cut? And two, if even if those costs cannot be cut, do they try to look for raise capital, or do they look at M&A? I'm talking about companies who are, let's say a company is in the hospitality sector
Sure.
or in the travel sector. So they are completely devastated by what has happened. And how do they handle? Do they pivot their model? So what are your suggestions?
So, see, Sushanto, in general, all business are impacted in this tough time, and especially the people who come from hospitality, more so from travel industry, will have toughest of toughest time. They would even think would have thought of while getting into this business. Certainly, they need to be focused. I think it's a time for survival and not to think about business, right? It's very important that you are live and kicking when business become normal. So one advice to all companies, and especially the people who are in travel businesses, just focus on how you can stay live till time situation becomes clear, meaning which you would still have expenses to bear. You would still have salaries to be paid. You may still have some variable expenses. Just be prepared that there may not be any business for next 12 months or 15 months. Given that scenario, please plan your survival plan, right? Because we are just talking about lockdown. I think tomorrow morning again PM will address the nation, and the lockdown will be further extended. But does that bring us to some kind of solution post that lockdown? I think no, because the restriction would still be there. The movement would still be restricted. possibly some essential services will get started, but largely most of the businesses will be impacted, and this will also impact all startups wherever they are in country or outside country. So my suggestion, do plan as if there is no business coming in, and you still need to take care of your expenses, right? So if you have certain reserves, do plan in a way that you are able to pass this tough phase without raising any money and no business coming in. If you don't have much reserves, just see what cost cutting you can do, what measures you can take, that you can bring down your expenses and still survive this 12 to 15-month period. If not, then do look for raising some small capital, only survival capital, right, which helps you stay live and afloat. This is a tough time. I think nobody have an answer when this will end, but I can certainly say for sure that whenever this end, it will actually bring up a lot of opportunity for everyone to explore. This is the time when you can sharpen your skill sets. You can actually revisit some of the features you have in your product, because see, your team is still there, right? They're still working from home. I think you probably might have missed out some of the features. I think this offers you opportunity to work on them and bring more robust product. That's one. Secondly, right, it has been fairly stated by Sushanto that businesses have impacted negatively across board, but there are some businesses which actually have seen positive trend. Right, we are using this Zoom platform actually have seen exponential growth during this time. There are businesses in education. Students are still doing online courses, right? There are still businesses which are still flourishing. So we have one company in portfolio which helps in automating supply chain, right? While most of the businesses are stuck, they are on average clocking almost around 15 to 20 crore worth business every day,
Right, right, right.
right? So I think digital is the way forward. In case if you lack some of the digital features, I think use
Correct,
this
correct.
time to make your business
Absolutely.
attuned to incoming opportunities. But I think this is the survival time. Don't experiment too much. Just keep your team intact, keep your house intact. Focus on how you can survive this phase for next 12 to 15 months.
Exactly. I think Anil, you said the right. The real word is survival. This for companies who are very badly affected. Survival is the key, and whether it means reducing costs, raising some small money, maybe even getting acquired by another company. I think you can always get acquired and live to fight another day. And there are many examples of that. So in fact, some of our companies, of course, have been positively impacted, but some which are very negatively. We are suggesting that while you think of pivoting to something else, or even being acquired by somebody else, survival is more important than trying to die a brave. There's no bravery in dying in business.
So
There might be
I
on the
will just
way.
I will just add here, Sushanto. I think you rightly said, do somebody, explore on acquisition or merger. I think this is a tough time where most of the companies are literally struggling to keep their, house float. I think nobody is going to take, liability of more expenses unless until these are big companies, deep reserves, and they find, some opportunity, then possible.
Yeah,
But in
absolutely. Not
general, acquisition, will be very tough. I think if you have real business, explore all possibility. I'm not saying good explore, but the foremost, be focused on how you survive this phase, because if somebody need you, they will acquire you later, but you need to be prepared for that phase, right?
yeah, and even if you also need money in the bank to be acquired. So no, if you're
True.
completely out of money, nobody will acquire you. So
That's
as
true.
he said that survival is very important. Maybe today nobody will acquire you, but 3 or 4 months down the line when things
That's
become
true.
better and you still have money in the bank, you have a good chance of being acquired. So conservation of capital and survival right now are important. There is no need for bravery for those people who are badly impacted. Let's come to the.
Also, uh, uh, how do you see it playing out different from the angel invested portfolio as compared to what Anil's portfolio is, which is slightly more evolved? How, what are you doing with your portfolio companies? How are the early stage companies managing? What different paths are you suggesting to them? Could you throw some light on that?
Yeah.
What are the positive sectors that you are seeing?
Okay, sure. So right, so as I said, so some of our portfolio companies which are, let's say, in online delivery of clothing or anything which is not essential today is under lockdown. So one of the things that they are doing is we've suggested that they reduce the space that they're occupying, maybe look at having certain common services, engaging with their customers. Very interesting that we are asking their customers to buy annual subscriptions now at a discounted price to collect capital for the company. And like loyal customers will actually support you in your tough times and use your loyal customers as a base for building your capital available in the company. Some of them are looking at preparing themselves for a long winter and seeing that they're reducing their operational cost to very low levels so that they can survive these 12 months and go on. Their challenges are a little less because the angel investors and early stage VCs are still looking at uh, the the ecosystem to invest. And I was going to come to Anil to the next question that uh, as a VC and somebody who has seen angel investing, how do you see that panning out in the next 12 months?
So it's a good time, for as far as we are concerned, right? I have always seen, good investment opportunity. But the problem is that, in past, while, industry was down, but we were still able to interact, we were able to spend time. Today, it's very tough, right? I may want to invest in one particular segment. I may come across, some interesting opportunity, but only because, I'm not able to, you know, uh, do certain, diligence aspect, that will restrict, us to explore, opportunities aggressively unless until we have done in past. But I think this phase will certainly offer a lot of opportunities to, investors, not only us but also angel investors, to uh, get access to good opportunities, right? These are totally uncertain time. I think founders also understand.
Yeah.
So they, probably would be more flexible than what it was during good time. So from investors' perspective, I think investors will always keep on looking for good investable opportunity.
But
Only
for the
then,
time being, till the lockdown is there, I think investments have taken a pause, and likely so because
Sushanto,
your voice is not audible.
of cold, but to
Anil,
give
you want
you,
to repeat yourself because we lost you in the middle.
yeah. So I was saying that I'm just interrupting you while there is a hold on investment, but honestly speaking, we at fund level are continuously exploring, couple of opportunities, and we might end up investing, during lockdown phase. So what I'm saying that yes, it has impacted investment in general, but there are investors who continuously keep looking for opportunities. So I'm saying while it is negative, but it's not that negative. The only thing you need to reach out to right people, uh, you know,
Right,
you
absolutely.
know,
No,
and
as
then
you
you may find.
correct. So even as Angel Networks, we announced one investment. We just completed another investment right now. But maybe going forward, things will be a little slow because our business diligence will not be complete without actually visiting the premises and so on and so forth. So some of the things which
True.
are physically not possible to do, we
True.
will not be able to do. So going forward, Anil, we are now talking about the people who have really benefited from COVID. One is, since people are not moving around, you said Zoom, uh, some SaaS software companies, tech, gaming companies, some health tech companies, they're doing very well. And they're seeing, uh, 50 to 200% growth in their monthly and weekly revenues. And there are VCs and angels also looking around those sectors. What is your advice to them? Should they quickly go and raise money and before the COVID goes away, or should they hold on and get traction and then raise money?
See, if somebody have term sheet and the investor is willing to go ahead with that term sheet, I think no better than that opportunity. But let's say if that's not there, then I would suggest keep trying. This is slightly bad patch, so you may not get same numbers what you would like to raise. You may not get same terms on valuation. However, you still need to have a runway for next 12 15 months. As I said in the beginning, look at your resources and see what gap you have. Just go and raise that gap, and I think you will be good to survive this phase. While there are businesses which actually have taken good opportunity, have taken advantage of this opportunity, and their investors have a different view altogether, right? I have a personal investment in a company which is basically in PaaS, platform as a service, deep tech company, and they realize that work from home actually is a big pain point, and they integrated some of the tools which they have developed in past, and actually it became a boon for most of the companies, right? For example, if bank allow access to their employees at home, there is an issue of trust and security, right? And this company found this opportunity, and they came out with a product with quick turnaround time of 1 2 week, and they like it's like most of the time people are free, work from home, you can get appointment at your choice. But I'm
Yes.
finding it tough to get hold of him. I had to wait for more than 7 days, right, to get half an hour slot with him. He's so busy handling those
And
calls, because everybody want to be in business, right? So
exactly.
what I'm saying, you will get opportunity. Just look at the strength and weaknesses of your company and see if you can build something based upon current opportunity. I think you probably may find some different kind of investors,
Yeah.
right? However, having said that, it is a tough time. You may find it difficult to raise money. Don't give up. Just see how you survive, and raise only what you can raise to be in the game.
Exactly. So at this point of time, if an investor is coming to you and wants to invest in you, even though the valuation may not be the best and the terms may not be great, but this is not the time to refuse investors. That is number one. And even if the investor interest is lukewarm, continue to look at that. Anil, moving on to the next set of companies whose businesses will probably recover either in a V-shaped way or in a U-shaped way once the uh, lockdown is over and slowly starts coming. So they're not very impacted very badly. Neither are they gaining from it, but they're slightly negatively impacted by it. And again, what is some of them may be in the fundraise round, some of them could be looking at expansion and so on. So this is the third category of companies who are in business right now. So what's your advice to them?
Sushanto, can you repeat? I just lost
So I
you
said,
for
sorry.
a bit.
So as I said, there is one set of companies which are very badly impacted by COVID, like hospitality and transportation. others who are benefiting from it, such as PaaS and SaaS and EdTech and so on. The last set of companies are companies which are mildly affected by the lockdown and will have a very rapid recovery once the lockdown is over. So whether the lockdown is for 15 days or 30 days, they will come back uh, mm, pretty fast. Like, so what is your advice to those companies who may be having a 20 lockdown period or a 1 month of a lockdown period?
So, so as I said, right, companies have, orders, right? They have customers waiting. However, they are not able to fulfill orders only because of the lockdown, right? They don't have access to their office, they don't have access to their warehouse, they don't have access to their facility. I think this probably this kind of companies will probably bounce back quickly post lockdown. But we need to bear one thing in mind that this lockdown, once it, like once government allows, it to ease out, it will be happening in phased manner, right? So you will be still struggling, to get into the normal situation. While there may be order, but there are chances that liquidity is crunched, right? The entire world, for almost 2 months or maybe more, we are seeing that every country is stressed out as far as cash flow is concerned. So while you may have orders, you may want to be slightly careful in fulfilling the orders because everyone have limited resources, and I believe more so for startup because they run very tight ship, right? So my advice to them is, one, just stay intact, till lockdown situation. Some of you will bounce back very quickly. Still, there may be some liquidity crunch, so play your cards properly so that you don't get trapped, in surge of orders. But be very careful in how you execute your business going forward. These are actually uncertain times, and you have to be very careful while dealing with the situation, right?
So, one more set of people are, of course, and maybe perhaps in the audience also, who are thinking of starting a business at this point in time. So is it a good time to start a business in a lockdown situation?
Best
So
time.
it's a contrary
This
to.
is this is best time, Sushanto, because any startup is thinking of starting. They need to have a gestation period of 6 to 9 months, right? When they will be only developing, right? We don't know what is stored in post lockdown, right? People are talking about salary cut. People are talking about reducing the team. There are people, so as I was telling you, this lockdown actually have brought so much stress to some of the people that they just want to take a break, right? They want to get back to life, right? So you will have different kind of shades post lockdown. I think this is the best time to get started because one, this is offering level zero opportunity to all, right? Everyone is at ground level. Resources availability is quite high. You will get totally good sets of resources to build on your ideas. Second, the cost of development will be very reduced because in general people are talking about low cost. Infrastructure cost will also go. I think one of the best time to get started as far as new startup is concerned.
And surprisingly, some of the best businesses all over the world has been built during recession
Very
time.
true. Very true.
Google,
Same is the
Cloud, there
same
are
is
many
the
companies.
very true. Same is the story about Google. Look at Zoom. How it is flourishing. We have some of the very good, interesting stories in India as well, right? Look at Tally, how it started. Look at Airbnb. Look at Flipkart, right?
So actually, there is a team at Lead Engine who's building on a program for doing entrepreneurship development during this time because it's the best time to start.
Yeah,
Um,
very true.
Manish, can we have some questions from
So,
the audience? Yes, please.
thank you so much, Sushanto and Anil, for throwing light on how people are managing, how are they. We have a lot of questions on the chat side. Let me just read that out. Uh, so we have Mr. Ashok Mittal asking, which are the sectors that investors are still looking to invest in the current time, apart from edtech and health tech? And uh, so, like you said, that there may be a slowdown, but I'm sure there would still be some sectors that you would be say, looking at right now. What is your take on this from the
Anil?
investing side? And Anil, would you like to throw some light? Which areas are you still looking at positively?
So, so as I told, right, it's not recession, it's an uncertain time. So overall, I think all businesses are looking good. The one which is, seeing a different traction is in online delivery platforms, right? So whichever business is built on digitization, are one which are flavor of the time, right? Be it fintech, agri-tech, manufacture. I don't know. Look at anything, wherever the digitization is the name of the game today, right? As I gave you example, in this lockdown, I don't know how many of you, might have visited, medical store, during this lockdown. If not, just go and ask them, how they are able to fulfill, their, replenishment when there is nobody to come and take the order, right? People are not able to come travel. When they call, imagine, how many call distributor might be receiving, right? Here, the company, if able to, place order digitally without, any intervention. I think these are the kind of businesses which are getting traction, right? Similarly, insurtech, fintech, right? Wherever, digitization is there, I think these are the kind of company which are gaining traction. Even in education, right? It's not nothing has changed in education. The only thing which has changed is the mode of delivery and the mode of consumption.
Right. No, absolutely. And we have a company out of Canada where we are evaluating to invest. And that company supplies software to call centers, which helps them to analyze the performance of the team and so on. And now, since everybody is working from home, their software, they again, I have the same problem. I'm not able to get in touch with the founder because they are so busy with their clients, right? So, absolutely, there are some sectors which
So I'll give another very unique example, Sushanto, here, right? We have one company in portfolio. So look at the e-commerce industry, right? For e-commerce industry, you need to continuously, upload, product details for which you need to take pictures, tag it, filter it, and then upload on website so that people can have a look at it, right? Now, because of this situation, where do you find a photographer who can take a picture? Where do you get it corrected? How do you upload it, right? I'm a businessman. I know how to run business, but I'm not in a business of clicking photo. I'm not in business of filtering, correcting, tagging, uploading, right? We have a company, which actually built a platform, with the help of several technological tools, also leveraging Adobe, where you just upload picture taken by your mobile phone. They will filter it, tag it, upload automatically, and you are in business, right? They are getting so much traction not only from India but outside. Simple technology, right? You have totally eliminated the process of being dependent on photographer, right? I'm not saying taking away business from photographer, but today time is different, right? This lockdown situation, you don't know how long it will go on. You can't stop your business, right? So the businesses which are able to digitize and help leverage the situation are the one which are getting favor.
So, Anil, Rajiv has asked, are VCs working with their portfolio companies to help them penetrate segments like, say, government segment or, say, large multinationals, which in normal times may not have been easy because they don't have the time bandwidth? Are you, say, assisting in, say, business development to these hard to break segments?
So we have portfolio of 17 companies. Of course, now it's 15 because we have exited one and one has folded. and we do see some level of stress in one or two company, but rest of the companies are at a different stage of growth. So one of the company which is in robotic, right, considering COVID, ventilator is a big problem. Where company is working with one of the IIT, to see if they can productionize the low cost ventilators, right? So we are trying to help, the one of the company which is in smart clock. We are saying, can you, work on building something, where, it need not to be, sanitized, right? So I cannot, restrict my movement. I have to open door. I have to close door, right? How many time I can keep sanitizing, right? I'll be still prone to this COVID, right? So I'm saying, can you think of, some which actually help protect you from the current situation. Yes, we do help our portfolio company, but currently we are helping more them how to survive this phase rather than thinking of creativity of building business or developing business. I think even if we connect, nobody is able to do anything today.
No, one
Only
of
one
the
company which is in cyber security, they are slightly better placed, but rest of the companies do have their challenges, right? We have a company which is in micro lending. Today everybody need money, so there is no issue of demand. I think demand is more than what they can supply, but they don't know what is the situation stored in, right? RBI is talking about moratorium, right? So
we have the
startups
same
cannot.
portfolio, Anil.
Sorry.
The same portfolio company.
That is true with everyone, right? So I'm saying this is a very uncertain time. So I think our suggestion to our portfolio is, just think of, how you can survive. Just see you can keep your team intact. If we need to, reduce the, wage bill, I think that's better than asking some of the people to go, because these are the people who have helped you build the business, right? Time actually is a very challenging. So we are only suggesting them to see, how they can survive this phase.
So basically, enhance the longevity. Maybe each person of the team takes a cut of maybe 15, 20, 30%.
That's all voluntary. So like,
Yeah, yeah.
honestly speaking, some of our portfolio company have raised money recently, so they are well capitalized, right? They don't have a stress. you know uh, they can easily survive for next 18 to 24 months, most of the companies.
Wow.
But there are companies where we do have stress, so we are continuously suggesting them to look at the ways to extend their survival, rather than being in a stage where they don't know what to do tomorrow, right?
Okay.
Business will come, right? I don't see any reason for people not to bounce back in business. The only people who will will laugh to bank, the one who are able to survive. You will see many casualties happening. Don't want to be pally pally. This is a tough time. You may find some companies folding up as well, but the
Sure.
mantra is just to see how you can survive, right?
Sure.
Business is not an
So,
issue, survival is an issue.
Sushanto, I think this is directed to you by Ray from Scope NC. He is asking, are the investor strategy changing from a product-oriented companies to service-oriented, since there would be a lot of service-based businesses booming going forward? Would you look at IT services company after this, or during this period, or you will continue to look at IP-oriented product or SaaS-oriented companies? You're mute. Sushanta, you're mute.
Yeah. So, the SaaS has been growing steadily over these last few years, and I think the current situation has only accelerated that. And there are, even what we hear from the market, some of the IT services companies are, at least the mid-tier ones, are looking at levels of, pretty downbeat projections about the next year and so on. So I think SaaS and actually product companies will have a positive time vis-a-vis services companies.
Okay. So next question is by Nanda. would you consider health tech startups which have an MVP, but they don't have users or revenues or revenue traction in this period, given that there is a boost up to say your digital health and other things? Would you be willing to bet on MVP oriented say companies which may not have any traction? Uh,
This is for Sushant or this is for
this is for
me?
Anil.
Go ahead.
So we are uh, quite open to explore opportunities in segments where there is an MVP. Uh, it's not that we are not exploring, but considering the fund strategy, we try to get into pre-series A companies where there is a revenue. We typically avoid seed level or seed very early stage. Though we have made some investment at concept stage as well, but typically we avoid getting into early stage. But we are open to explore. If opportunity is good, we can have exceptions.
Provided the team is a rockstar team and the idea is
Yeah,
a rockstar idea.
yeah.
So like, for example, as lead angels, we're just investing in a company which has no revenues, an tech company has no revenues, but has a fair amount of traction. So that brings me to Anil also, just to ask question that in this situation, what what is your suggestion for team building and getting your team together, because founders are not meeting their team members in the physical world. What are some of the best practices that your portfolio companies are using to increase team engagement and employee engagement?
I think one of the thing most of the people are now using facility like Zoom, Google Hangout, or WhatsApp call, just to stay intact. I think there are three kind of engagement. One at a founder level, where they are, talking regular basis. Then second is at a senior team level, and then third is a respective team level. I think this is a very tough time. It's more important, to keep engaged with team. One to build confidence. Second to stay in touch. These are actually uncertain time, right? I will not name, but I have come across a case where founder have decided to move out of the company. A well-funded company, have a lot of orders, but because of this, lockdown, the isolation has brought so much frustration that the person is just thinking of moving out of his own business. Imagine what would be the state of employees who are working on some projects, whether those projects will continue or not, whether they will be in business or not, right? So it's a very tough time, very stressful time, and hence I think it's responsibility for all founders to keep their team intact, give them confidence, be in regular touch. I think the physical thing probably will get impacted, but wherever you are able to do things on computer or laptop, I think those software stuff you can develop and keep team engaged, keep them motivated, stay in touch on daily basis. That's the only thing I can suggest.
I find an interesting question which has
Okay,
and I'll read it out to you. Nitin Gupta asks, do we really need to know the VC personally, Anil? Or what is the best way to approach Anil Joshi?
so so there are two things, right? One is pre-investment, one is post-investment, right? uh, Pre-investment, as good as you're trying to find a girlfriend, right? You don't know whether you'll be able to date.
that is a
but
good
but
one.
but but post-investment, you know uh, uh,
Around
you would know as much as you would know anybody in your life. It's better to keep a cordial relation, because I'm not talking about us, but most of the investor, even angel or seed stage investors, they come with a lot of experience. And there would be some investors who may not invest in you, but they may like you, and they would be happy to be in touch with you, right? So just see whom you can engage as a mentor, whom you can engage as an investor. As far as VCs are concerned, I think not all VC will be investing in your company, but no harm in being in touch, keep them updated with the progress. And there would be cases when you will all of a sudden see some interest from VCs, right? We have invested in companies after a year, only in those companies which kept us updated, right? We keep on getting so many opportunities to explore. As a normal human being, we also lose out, we also miss out, we also
Yes, absolutely.
forget. But if you ensure to keep people updated, I think you will hit the bullseye someday.
Yeah. So I think
Okay.
one is we all look for persistence amongst entrepreneurs. So if they are persistent in
True.
approaching us, and yes, also better if you come through a reference or LinkedIn or whatever,
Very
rather
true.
than making a cold call.
Very true.
Next
Uh,
question.
uh, so we have Atul Bathur who's asked. I think in some ways you answered that. For some e-commerce startups and for some companies, they already have prepaid orders, and they continue to get prepaid orders without their marketing spend. Should they enhance their marketing spend in today's scenario, who are able to fulfill it in today's time? Or should they continue to have lower marketing spend to enhance the longevity of their company? I think a very interesting question. Would
See,
you say, Sushanto, like?
see, uh, it's
Yeah,
very
please go ahead, Anil.
See, it's very important for founder to keep tap on their resources. If they are in position to market and grab extra landscape, I think please go ahead. But being in an uncertain situation, right? Why you want to be on wrong side of the fence, right? Be calculative. Spend only which doesn't stress you and your business. That would be my advice.
Absolutely. So conservation of capital at this point is paramount. So if it means sacrificing brand building and marketing expenses, so be it. Somebody also asks, is it a good time to sell or buy a company? So that is Tushar Shah. So I think the answer is that this is not a good time to sell a company, because unless you have no hope for the company, this is a good time to buy companies, because you will be able to buy companies at very interesting prices, because there will be people who will be in distress and want to and need money for some other purpose, and therefore may sell their assets. This is actually a good time to buy companies.
So Shushanto, I'll just add one
So
flavor to your
Vishal B.
I'll
Go
just
ahead.
add one flavor to most of the startup land up building few products, right? And some of them also may be revenue generating, right? In today's time, probably you may want to focus on your core product, and then maybe one or two products which may be bringing in some revenue but may not be core to you. If you have a buyer for those kind of products, sell it off,
Yes,
bring
yes.
extra cash, right? You can
Absolutely.
always partner with the buyer, or you can build something new offering, but just focus on your core business. There may be some opportunities in one of our portfolio company. They have a very small product, self-sustaining, but it's non-value add. They're looking to sell it, right? Just focus on core business.
Uh, uh, so this is for, say, both of you. If you can very quickly answer, are VCs and angel investors together collaborating more with each other's portfolio and trying to see if there are any M&A or other opportunities in certain in today's scenario? Are you seeing that happen, or is it to each his own?
No, so
I
I'll just, since we have an advisory division which helps companies both in raising pre-series A, series A funds as well as M&A, we've been approached by VCs, quite a few VCs, saying that are there M&A opportunities for our portfolio companies? So yes, today is VCs are being proactive, and even
Your voice is gone. Sushanto, your bandwidth is low.
So maybe I'll patch up in meantime. Uh, so I
Yeah.
think both angel investor
collaboration.
and VCs have common interest, and I think we do collaborate. As far as people are able to contribute, we continuously keep looking for value add from each other to help companies.
So we have Nitin Gupta who has requested me to ask. He wants to ask a question personally to you, Anil.
Hmm.
Can we have Nitin? Can you unmute yourself and ask the question?
Sure.
Yeah, so basically, hi Anil, Nitin here. What I wanted to know is that considering funds like VC funds who are more tech oriented and looking at only tech kind of an opportunities, VC funds like yours, how are you evaluating from a valuation standpoint and from business standpoint somebody today versus 3 months back? I mean, what difference does it make if it is a real tech play itself in any which case?
So, Nitin, it's a very good question, right? Uh, Actually, things have changed a lot in last 3 months. If you look at the product wise, offering wise, I think nothing has changed, but the macroeconomic situation have changed a lot, and that has also impacted, the valuation, right? Look at the listed, space. I think wealth of some of the people have evaporated to one third, right? What does that mean? I still hold same number of shares, and my wealth have got evaporated. So it's a tough time. We have seen valuation coming down, because it's a very tough time today. Let's say I'll give an example. We land up investing in something in hospitality industry, right? Maybe related to hotels, maybe related to travel, where there is a lot of uncertainty, meaning which you may have world class product, but there may not be any business for 12 months. What does that mean, right? We are paying only for keeping lamp burning for those opportunities, right? So it's very tough to value tech companies, because no business for 12 months. There may be something totally different after 12 months, right? So how do you value the opportunity when things are very uncertain, right? So yes, we are very careful. So what we are doing, if somebody is asking for $1 million, and let's say they may need just $300,000 for next 12 months or so just to survive this phase, we talk about that investment and not 1 million, because we can always revisit the growth money. I think it's more important to just see that how do you survive and be in business during this tough time, right? I hope it helps addressing your question.
Just
Yeah,
to
yeah,
add,
definitely.
we've seen situations where VCs will actually reduce the valuation, overnight sometimes, and companies may feel, uh, find it difficult to accept those situations. But this is the grim reality. Today money, money at hand is worth a lot, and even if it means your valuation is down by 20% today, you have bought survival money so that you're there 12 months away from now to raise money at a larger valuation. So I don't think valuation should be a concern of startups. It should not be a concern for startups in most situations, especially not in this situation.
Uh, uh, yes, sorry, Nitin. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, yes, it does. And I have another related question, if you allow me to ask.
Quickly, please.
Yeah, so
A whole lot of other questions.
we
Thank you.
see quite a few VCs wanting the promoters to know them upfront, or they want a LinkedIn profile first as compared to the company deck. And I'm talking about the top-notch VCs in the country, or they would want somebody known, credible person to refer them, like Rajan Anandan has quoted many times. I get 100 opportunities. I don't have time. Obviously, fair enough. But how do startups who are not into the funding game initially manage this? they try pinging them, the VCs, and try and keep them in touch? Is that the only way out, or is there some better, smarter way to associate with somebody like lead angels to do the bit of a work over there?
So
I'll
Nitin,
just add,
yeah.
so I'll just add one more thing. So Neil has asked Anil, and this is for you also, Sushanto. This could be a yes or no. Is being an IT or IIM graduate more important in today's time? Would you look at non-IT IIM founders in today's time?
So I think for us it doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't matter, right? Otherwise we wouldn't have seen Paytm and Oyo happening, right? So I hope that helps answering. But coming to Nitin, I think which will be very important for most of the founders, how to get access to right people. I think this would have been the issue some 10, 12, 15 years back, but not anymore, because there's so many platforms, right? You can try Twitter, you can try Instagram. I think Instagram is also catching up quite well in getting connected to people. LinkedIn is the best way to get started. If nothing works, I think you can explore forums like Lead Angel or any other forum. Ties another uh, you know uh, uh, common platform which is available across country, right? Just see if you can become part of them and they can help you connect. But the only way which Sushanto has also highlighted in past, be persistent, right? Try to
And
see common connects. You probably will have somebody in your network, right? 6 degree separation is not tough to find in today's world of LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. So best way is to find a common link and see if you can get an audience, right?
great, thank you. And so you are tech focused or tech enabled focused, Anil. Would you still in today's time look at say Ayurveda health supplements or similar healthcare products which are mobile first kind of thing? Would you look at them?
See, it's only trading, then probably no. But let's say if somebody has worked on some formulation, which leverages Ayurveda, we may be interested, right? But
So
not,
you would want the IP to be within the company.
yes.
So there has to be
Okay.
some innovation. It might be in the business area, it might be in the product area, but all angels and VCs are primarily looking at innovative companies, right? So
True,
trading companies would not be of interest.
true. So one question by
So we can take one more
uh,
question.
one
I
last
don't know how
question.
much time Anil has.
Rachit says that B2B e-commerce startups, are they looking from your side? Sushanto as well as Anil, yes or no?
Answer is yes and no for me. I think.
Okay.
It depends upon what is the opportunity.
What is the
Sushanto may be
product?
in a right person to answer, but
Exactly.
very tough for me to
Okay.
answer this unless until we have seen it.
Yeah.
If it is pure, e-commerce, even B2B, we need to see what kind of, burn they would have for years. But if it's innovative, I think probably yes. If it is pure e-commerce, then it may be no for us.
So we of course will look at B2B e-commerce, but at this point of time, trade is down and finances are tough. So we would really look very, very deeply into the business before we invest in it. But we don't have anything per se against B2B e-commerce. So we're happy to look at those.
Okay. So, I guess if you have to reach out to Anil or to Sushanto, just a small suggestion, please reach out to them on LinkedIn. They both are quite active on LinkedIn. And I mean, just be, just, just have some patience and persevere. They may not answer your thing immediately. And like as investors, we are, say, our inbox, our LinkedIn inboxes are flooded with the connections, a request. So be patient and persevere a little bit. I guess your answers will come. With that, I think any one would like to ask a question in person, we have one last question that can be asked. If
You can put in questions, we can answer them later also because we have their email IDs and we can.
right, you can ask them, ask us that question. So thank you for being a patient, say like audience, and thank you for your time. Any one of you who is interested a separate entrepreneur course with one-on-one mentorship from say investors and entrepreneurs, please write your email, and there's a feedback form that will be mailed to you. Please write in that if you are interested in that. Along with that feedback form, you could also mail us any questions you could have. We'll be separately sending you that mail for the same. And I guess thank you so much, Anil, for your time. Thank you, Sushanto.
Thanks, Anil. Thanks,
you.
Manish. And thanks, Fresh Desk, for organizing this. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Bye,
Thank you so
guys.
much, Fresh Desk, for being a support. For all our portfolio companies, we have quite a incentivizing program from Fresh Desk side. So yes, you're welcome to be our portfolio member. Reach out to us. Look forward to connecting with you all.
Thanks.
To the same, so Muralidharan, to the same invite, we'll be sending you a feedback form. You can reply to that mail, and while you can fill up that feedback form. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manish. Thank you, Sushanto.
Thank you,
Have a great
Ashok,
time.
Nitin,
Bye-bye.
Hemanand,
Take care. Stay safe.
Muralidharan. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.